Alright, let's get started. This is actually a clean 2 push press. Let's get to the start. But mainly talking about the push press. But since we have it, why not use it? So, get into the first setup. Setup for the clean. In this position, you can see that my shoulders are above my hips, but not into the best position. I have an active pull or active position into it. So once I actually get tension in the hamstrings, get tension in the lats, which you can see my forearms get taut, the bar bends a little bit. So that's the position that I'm actually going to be in when I pull the bar off the ground. In Olympic lifting, there is 3 pulls, but I call there to be a 4th pull. But we'll talk about just mainly the 3 pulls. So in the first pull, there obviously is a pull to the knees. So you can see from here to here, there's not much change in anything other than the knees are extending. Okay, so the bar, my back position, my shoulder position, and my hips are all relatively in the same position from start to finish, other than the knees are straightening. Now once the bar gets past my knees, you'll notice that my feet are still flat, but my knees come under. So I'm still in a slightly flexed position in my knees, but my hips are going to start extending. Now this is where the certain muscles are going to be playing a huge factor. Now obviously the agonist muscles are right now, as you can see, are the quads. I'm using a lot of lats to keep the bar in position, and then also the hips are a major driving force, and the finish will be the glutes. Now here you can see full extension. Now the gastrocnemius are working to get triple extension in the calf and the ankles. The quads and glutes are working for hip extension, and now you'll start seeing the biceps working a little bit. You'll start seeing the elbows drive back, so the elbows are flexing, and they'll stay flexed in a clean because they'll actually stay in a rack position. Now you can see from my catch position right here, my ankles do collapse just a little bit. My hips could be back a little bit farther, but because I have pretty good mobility in the wrist, elbows, and shoulder flexion, I'm able to rack that bar in a pretty good position with a good center of gravity. Through all this movement, the synergistic muscles that are really working here are the teres minor and some of the other like shoulder muscles like rhomboids, just to keep that bar in a good position. As you can see, the bar rubs up on my legs and will keep that in a good position. Now here in the rack position, this is the 3rd pull, catching underneath it in a good position, and then a recovery position, standing up into a position. Now you also see I like to use the bar when it's weightless. That's when I readjust my feet, I readjust my hips, I stack everything on top, and I reset my hands. So you can see how the bar is completely weightless. It does look like I'm hitting myself in the chin, but I'm kind of used to it. Also, doesn't that look weird to see my chin? Wow. Alright, so here we go into the meat and potatoes. The push press. The push press is going to be a very simple movement, but takes a tremendous amount of power. The first position, so the prep phase, would be right here. Prepping my body, keeping my core tight, getting a good, nice, deep breath, and making sure my hands are in a good position. This would be the movement phase. So the movement phase is what we would call the dip. This is the first and final dip. So my ankles are going into dorsiflexion, my knees are going to flexion, my hips are going to flexion, and my spine is pretty much staying upright. And here you won't see anything of, right there, you see my knees collapse a little bit, doing a little dance move. So right here you can see me get into another triple extension like I talked about before. And then the bar is driven off the body. Now with a push press, you do not dip back underneath it. So this would be the follow through. I mean, it's still kind of the movement phase, but the follow through is the bar is driving off the shoulders, and I'm finishing by pushing through. Spine is not in the best position, but you know, my hands are stacked over top of my elbows, which are extended now. My shoulders are in complete flexion. My hips, my knees, and my ankles are all aligned. And that would be the follow through. And the recovery phase is drop to the ground. And that's a push press. The key positions in a push press is going to be this position right here. If you let your hips get in front of your heels, you're going to be using just quads, and you're going to propel the bar forward, which you can see how it got a little bit far forward, but I corrected it by pushing my head through, getting my spine in a better position, and I was able to extend the bar up. And again, recover, drop the bar.